How you doing, Kingdom class? Happy Monday morning. I just want to say God bless you. We had a fantastic time last week. We talked about two principles. We talked about the law of use. This is a particular law and where God may give us a task or something to do, or we may have a situation where either the resources inside of us, whether it be a skill or a talent, or the resources that are externally, may not seem to be enough or adequate for the task. And so what are we to do? We are to put them to use. What God has given us in our hands, utilize them. As we use them, they will grow and they will increase. It is true that what you don't use, you will lose. So we talked about the law of use. We also talked about the law of perseverance. You may be in a situation where you're working on something, and it just doesn't seem like you don't seem to get to the goal. You don't reach your destination. And that's because there's something that has to be in effect, and that's called activating the law of perseverance, where we just keep on and keep on and keeping on. Now, we had a question in class, and the question was, how do we know if we're running into continual resistance that that's not the Lord saying you need to stop because that's not for you? Well, that's where the good ground hearer comes in, because we have to have those 7 things. Remember, we have to have a good heart and a noble heart. We have to accept the word, understand the word, keep the word, put it to use to bear fruit with that word, and to bear fruit with that word in patience. As we do that, those 7 elements are the ingredients or the description of the good ground hearer. If we do that, the more that we do that, the more we begin to be that good ground hearer, and the more we'll be able to see, hear, and understand. And remember what Jesus said, if we see, hear, and understand, he will come and heal us. And that word, and when we talk about healing, that means he will come in and cause things to grow. He will come in to cause us to be able to persevere until we reach our destination. So that was what we talked about last week. Tomorrow night, we're going to be talking about 2 very interesting laws. One is called the law of responsibility and the law of miracles. These are 2 laws where we come together to understand what is it that we ought to be doing that God puts on our heart and puts on our responsibility, or I should say, what God puts the ball in our court to do. And what are some of the things that he just tells us, step aside, because he's going to stand in and do something. So that's tomorrow night. So looking forward to seeing you. We also want to remind you, this coming Sunday is our 22nd anniversary. We're going to have 2 very impactful services, a 10 a.m. service, and then we're going to have a very powerful 6 o'clock service. We're going to have guest speaker David Ireland. He's a gentleman who developed the curriculum for the School of Prayer. And also going to have Sister Deidre Greathouse. She is one of the worship leaders at Lakewood Church in Houston, Texas, with Joel Osteen. So 2 incredible events that's happening this week. I'm going to ask you to get on the phone, to get on your mobile device, and to contact all of the people that you know to have them come out, particularly to this 6 o'clock one. Let me just share this with you before I leave you. The last time David Ireland came was in 2013. Now, although the anointing that God gives him is more in the prayer realm, but also prophetic, it was through him. And for those of you who was at that evening service in April 2013, you remember when David Ireland gave the prophetic word of the Lord, transferring the mantle of this church, Abundant Life Fellowship, from Apostle Fenton to Pastor Aubrey. You guys remember that, okay? He is also the guy that talks about how when it comes in prayer, there's a time to pray, a place to pray, an objective, and an agenda to pray. He's a gentleman like that. When you bring somebody out this coming week, they are going to get a word that is specific for them as well as for us. So make sure you put the effort so we can get as many people out to see what God has for us. So looking forward to seeing you tomorrow night at the Kingdom class. In the meantime, later on this afternoon, I will be sending you a video. So take care and God bless you.